Hello, I'm Darrell Bryan. I will be your instructor for this course, EDU 7060, K-12 Law and Governance for our public schools. I'd like to spend the next few minutes going over with you the syllabus for this course. I'm certainly not going to read every word of it to you. I'd just like to hit the highlights and talk about the key things that we'll be talking about as we go throughout the course this semester. You can see that I have my cell phone number listed and also my email address. I hope to be available to you most anytime, so please don't hesitate to call me. I hope we will also be able to use Skype as much as we can. I plan to set a time that perhaps Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock we'll be able to get together via Skype and talk about issues that you may have concerning the details of this course. But mainly we're going to be talking about United States Supreme Court decisions, federal court decisions, important federal legislation, and also some important state legislation that is unique to Florida, and I know that impacts your work as a school leader in this state. So let's begin. We'll be talking about First Amendment issues, Fourth Amendment issues, 14th Amendment issues, and I would ask that you become familiar with these before we really get into the meat of the course. I think they will help you in knowing how we interpret some of these things, and also the types of impact that these court decisions will have upon First Amendment issues and 14th Amendment issues, etc. We'll be discussing several important cases such as Brown versus Board of Education, which we all know is a landmark decision that really has impacted the public schools perhaps more than any other Supreme Court decision. We'll be talking quite a bit about that case. Another case, Tinker versus Des Moines, will also be an important case. But you can note in the syllabus that there are many cases that we'll be discussing in some detail as we go throughout the course. Legislation, I'm sure you've all heard of FERPA. You've also heard of No Child Left Behind and Race to the Top. We'll be discussing those very important pieces of legislation and how they impact your work today. We'll also be talking about in Florida Senate Bill 736. I cannot recall a piece of legislation that has come from our legislature that impacts your work any more than that, particularly with regard to tenure and how we pay our teachers. So you can notice as you go through the course outline and the goals how I have broken down the way the course will be outlined in terms of units, assignments per week, questions per week, etc., etc. But to begin with, let's talk about how you will be graded. You'll notice that assessment is 25% of your grade, and assessment is a fairly broad category. You will see that each week I have developed questions for you to answer and to respond to. What I would hope that you would do would be respond to me, your thoughts and reflections concerning the questions following your reading about a particular case or particular legislation. I hope to then respond back to you. I've always been a believer that feedback is probably one of the best ways of learning. I also understand that reflection really has the most to do with adult learning, probably more than anything else we can do. So I'll be asking you to think a lot about your work, about these cases we'll be talking about, and also legislation as well. So I hope to respond back to you. You'll notice also in the portal there will be questions for you to respond to under the discussion piece. I hope that you will respond to each other. I am looking forward to seeing your thoughts with regard to how each of you may think concerning a particular topic. So I will expect you to respond to at least 3 points of view within the portal. And that'll be a very important thing for you to do as well. So please read the assessment piece carefully. It may be a little confusing because assessment and participation will be closely linked. Assessment, I'm looking really for some detail and for some thinking on your part about what all of this might mean. Participation is simply that you will participate, and I expect everyone to participate, and the more participation we'll have in this class, the better. You'll also notice in the syllabus, I'm going to ask you to write a research paper, one of which will involve a legal topic that you are interested in, but I would ask you to get the topic approved by me first before you begin your work. And then I'm going to ask you to prepare a draft, which will be 5% of your grade as well. And the reason I'm asking for the topic to be approved and the draft to be proposed to me before you actually begin the meat of your work is that oftentimes students pick a topic that is far too general and very difficult to be covered in a research fashion. So I'm going to ask you to focus your topic on something that's very specific, something that can be covered in about 15 pages. And I would expect the writing to be of graduate quality using an APA format, and I expect to see some really good work coming from this group. You'll also notice in the syllabus that I'm going to ask you to collaborate with each other in making a presentation of a legal topic that is of interest to you. Now this could be linked to your research topic, or it could be something completely different. But in groups of no more than 4, I'd like for you to work towards a presentation that will develop or explain or otherwise educate all of us in terms of a legal construct, something that you have found to be interesting in your work, such as a policy, a practice, or something that is of particular interest for you. For example, I can imagine an assistant principal might be very interested in the legal work involving search and seizure with students. So that could be a topic that could be of great interest to all of us, and certainly that's a topic that still remains of great interest to all of us in public schools, especially secondary schools. So you'll see, again, those 4 areas will make up your grade. Shouldn't be too difficult to understand. I hope you will find value in reading it. Then we'll talk about the schedule of your classes, week 1 right on through week 14, and I hope the explanation in your syllabus is sufficient. I've tried to match that with the information in the portal as well. So if you see something that really does not make sense either in the portal or in the syllabus, I hope you'll give me a call, email me, and we'll get this thing worked out. So I'm looking forward to a great semester. I'm hearing good things about this cohort, and I'm glad to see so many of you interested in earning your EDD. It is really a great program, and you'll find it beneficial in your work as an educator in the public schools. Never has there been such a challenging time, and never have we needed more quality educational leaders than we do now in Florida's public schools. So good luck to you. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks.